Going into our Week 7 game, we're taking on Incog, coach of the devastating Drake results, and we've nearly clinched playoffs. However, a win here should guarantee us a really strong seed and potentially a really good round 1 matchup. If you guys enjoy and want to see more content like this, of course, like and subscribe for more, and let's break down the team we'll be using today very quickly. Starting off, of course, Incog's team does consist of Fluttermane, Snorlax, Pawmot, Murkrow, Politoed, Furret, Chimecho, and Blissey, with the Tera Pokemon being Snorlax and Pawmot here. My first option on the team should handle pretty much everything here very comfortably, being AV Iron Hands. This is designed to take any sort of hit with Fluttermane and KO it back immediately with Heavy Slam unless it's like a very set or some other really Fizz-Def invested spread while weakening my attack somehow. We also should be able to outpace Pokemon like Blissey just in case if, let's say, Fluttermane does get off a really strong Moonblast, it can't just Seismic Toss me for free. And then I should also be able to just 2-hit KO most Pokemon in general with this spread, even with the low attack investment here. The AV Iron Hands overall should be a really good breaker for us, despite not being oriented to necessarily break my opponent's team, just because my opponent has a lot of very low Fizz-Def Pokemon. And in combination with our next option, our Sitrus Berry Ting-Lu, we can take on all of these special attackers, like really I guess Fluttermane and Chimecho, but mostly Fluttermane, even more easily. We have a Tera Poison set with Ting-Lu, allowing us to take better hits from both Pawmot and Fluttermane, which is really good from both of their super effective stabs. We should be able to also creep all the way up to a very slow invested Politoed, as well as a Jolly Snorlax, which I figured might come actually, because it could actually outpace a lot of my slower threats like Iron Hands and Ting-Lu, and get off really strong +6 attacks like Earthquake into my team very easily. We should also be able to avoid the 3-hit KO from Modest Specs Fluttermane, even if it does have the Sun up thanks to Murkrow, and we can also take on a +6 Facade from Lax. So unless if we go for Tera Poison, there's not really a single move that Lax would run on a Belly Drum set that can viably KO me. Moving on, we do have actually a really surprising breaker this game, being my Flame Orb Guts Squawkabilly. Thanks to Guts and the Flame Orb, this actually does break Incog's team very well, as there is not a single flying resist on the entire team. This also is invested heavily into special defense, as this does allow us to take hits from Fluttermane potentially. The Sash sets were able to roll KOs regardless if we were going with HP, especially with good coverage, so I wanted to go with the Spidef as this does help with taking on those hits since I might want to revenge Fluttermane off with Brave Bird after a Flame Orb turn. Moving on though, we do have Heatran, which is a really good win con for us this game, and in my opinion, it will be winning the week. My opponent has no good way to break a bug type actually, so I went with Tera Bug Heatran, since I guess the best way would be Power Gem Fluttermane, which might come for this matchup to be fair. It's the best way to hit Heatran outside of Shadow Ball. And otherwise though, there's not really a great way. With the Tera Bug as well, I should be able to take on better hits from stuff like Stomping Tantrum Heatran, as well as Pawmot's fighting attacks. So again, just like with Tera Poison, it matches up a little bit better here than a typical Tera type like Grass. Overall, this should be able to avoid the 3-hit KO from Fluttermane with leftovers, though at the same time, we do need to worry about with the Sun Up because that could actually get into 2-hit KO territory thanks to Shadow Ball, but I'm still kind of confident that we'll be fine here. And after just a single Iron Defense, this Pokemon does kind of go hard into my opponent's team. Next up, we do have Iron Jugulis, which is a great support Pokemon thanks to the booster speed, allowing us to outpace any not booster speed Fluttermane and just fire off stuff like Snarl and Tailwind very easily. Meanwhile, even if we do have to switch this out and back in again, we should still outpace Pawmot guaranteed. So overall, just a really good support piece that I'm not super committed to, but it could be a good 5th or 6th mon here. Finally, we do have Sinistrar, which in my opinion is another great win con in case Heatran fails. Scald and Matcha Gotcha hits my opponent's entire team very incredibly, and with the Calm Mind option, we should be able to set up and potentially break through my opponent. I've been running a lot more defensively oriented sets, so I think that Calm Mind could be a good way to catch Incog off guard, and thanks to the Kasib Berry, we should get a guaranteed turn to set up, even against Fluttermane. The Rental's going to be on screen here in case you guys want to try it yourselves. Let me know if you do end up taking this in the ladder. I'd love to see how it does, and with that said, let's get into the battles. Are you looking for a weekly Thursday tournament at 6 p.m. EST every Thursday to try and test your new Regulation E and for future formats, those future formats knowledge? Come and sign up for the CUDGEL Cup starting this week on Thursday at 6 p.m. EST tomorrow. For anyone who does sign up, of course, it should be a lot of fun and a great way to practice the format. This is going to be a Wi-Fi Regulation E tournament, though there might be some weeks that do end up being Showdown based, so if you are interested in playing in any sort of Regulation E or a future format going forward tournament, click on the link down below to join the WBG server, as well as the link to sign up on Limitless.com, and I look forward to competing against you guys personally and even getting to stream some of the tournament games myself. With all that said, let's get back to today's video. Okay, so looking at Avery's team consists of the same 6 that I did think would come, to be fair. As I said, Blissey had a terrible matchup in the builder. Well, in the live builder, at least I mentioned this, for the people who aren't channel members, I'm sorry for not including you in this. But the live builder, I mentioned that Avery probably didn't have Blissey, because Blissey's just a worse Snorlax here. And the Chimecho didn't come because I have Dual Dark. Politoed did end up coming though. Fluttermane, shocker, Fluttermane came, guys. Believe it or not, mid-mon of the century did end up coming to the game. Murkrow came.
Furret came. Furret's actually kind of good here. I like Furret a lot in this matchup. It does kind of give Avery some nice win cons. And then obviously Snorlax with Tera Fire and Palmot with Tera Fighting. In terms of my lead here, I feel pretty okay with just leading off with like Ting-Lu in hands. In all honesty, I feel like Ting-Lu hands just gives me a lot of mileage against my opponent. A win con off of Heatran, and I am gonna go for Thea because Thea is ideally gonna be my thumbnail mon. Because of everything on this team that I've not given a thumbnail to yet, it will be the hardest to do so in a later game. And since I am pretty locked for playoffs, I mean, it's not a guarantee, but it's a pretty good chance as long as I don't get like 8-0'd by Incog. I'm gonna try and go for Thea because I think it'll be funnier. I'm gonna look at fun regardless of my opponent. Incog's team definitely has a lot of scary pieces, so I need to be careful. Fluttermane and Murkrow leads perfectly fine. My hand should be able to take this hit. I know my hands should be able to take this hit. Guaranteed whatever Incog wants to throw at me. So we are just going to go for the Heavy Slam here. And then I'm going to go for the Tera Poison. And I'm going to go for a Taunt into Murkrow. That way then my opponent has to pick between dealing damage or being fast. Now I think that Murkrow will probably give up dealing damage, frankly. Well, give up doing the speed, frankly, and go for Sunny Day. Because I think it benefits Fluttermane objectively more here. We're going to bring Tera Poison on hands. Honestly, Tera Bug Heatran won't be as necessary immediately. I think especially if it's kind of lead, I think Tera Bug Heatran can stay at home as long as I just pressure Snorlax very carefully before it gets off the ground. Which I think I could do. I think I could definitely do that. They're going to go for Protect on Fluttermane. That means it's not choice. Good to note. Okay. That's perfectly fine. And then Murkrow goes for U-Turn. Okay. U-Turn Murkrow. Definitely interesting. Game 1 lead. So realistically, probably Furret or Snorlax come in here. I doubt that Palmot does. Snorlax steps in. Perfect. Okay. Taunting Snorlax is still a pretty good thing, I can't lie. Okay. So we're very okay with that. Yeah, we'll definitely take that. That's super good for us. Okay. So looking at my opponent's team, Snorlax is now taunted, which is good. That stops it from setting up at all. And it's just kind of a passive piece now. What I could do instead of what I was going to do, so initially I was gonna go for Heavy Slam into Fluttermane with Ting-Lu, and then go for Drain Punch. But I think there's a good chance that my opponent actually just goes for Tera Fire here. So I'm actually gonna predict that and go for Stomping Tantrum. I think it's either that or my opponent switches out, and either way I'm kind of fine because Murkrow coming back in, frankly, isn't gonna be a huge deal. Fluttermane does withdraw here, okay, and my opponent goes into Murkrow. Okay, Murkrow comes back in, perfectly fine. I'm very fine with Murkrow coming back in. Stomping Tantrum still does a considerable amount of Snorlax. I'm kind of fine with that. Gets a crit. Still kind of fine with that too. Murkrow nearly dies. That's information actually. I'm kind of curious actually. Does that reveal anything? Because that might reveal something. Murkrow versus Iron Hands. Oh, Iron Hands says 32 attack. Okay. Let's see, and then level 100, Iron Hands, with just 32 attack, not boosting nature. Oh, that's not a Violet marker. That is not at all a Violet marker. That's probably Covert Cloak, actually, which is good to note. That does help a lot with just damage calcs in general. What I'll do is I'll completely ignore the Murkrow for now, and I'm just going to go for Drain Punch and Stomping Tantrum. That way, then we can just take out Snorlax, because frankly, I do think that Mon is going to be kind of a pain in the ass. And we do see the Terrapie Snorlax, it's perfect, we accounted for this. And then on top of this as well, it does a Bulldoze, which is pretty decent prep actually. That's a really good way for Incog to deal some good damage to my team, while also giving speed control. That Snorlax will probably out Aces, for example, which is perfectly fine. Murkrow still just goes for U-Turn, I'm perfectly okay with that as well. We'll get some nice recovery back though on the Snorlax. Frankly, we should probably be able to take this out with the combination of Drain Punch and Stomping Tantrum. So I'm kind of okay with that. Obviously, we're going to take some good damage in the process, but I think I'm okay with this. Our backline of the Poltergeist, the Squawkabilly should be pretty good. I don't know why I was thinking Poltergeist. I left Sinish on the back, and even then, that's just not the Pokemon. Heat Crash. Okay, Heat Crash. I'm curious if this is EV. I feel like it's the only reason you run this kind of moveset. I'm kind of fine if it is, but either way, I'm very okay with AV Snorlax if that's the case, because it's not Belly Drum, and Belly Drum Snorlax is much scarier. We get some nice recovery though on Iron Hands. We know that Fluttermane as well is not Specs, so it can't kill my Iron Hands, frankly, which is good. Let's see, so we're 252, 176. I don't think we're boosting nature. We are boosting nature. Right, yes. You're smart and give this thing a boosting nature. Fluttermane. Okay, Palmot's last one. Palmot's very fun, actually. Okay, Palmot being last one here, I'm very okay with that. What I'm gonna do, oh my goodness. Okay, for a second, I thought that my thing wasn't working. We're just gonna dual target Fluttermane with Heavy Slam in all honesty. I don't really gain anything out of targeting Palmot this turn, frankly, because it's gonna fake out. No, it didn't fake out. Oh, Fluttermane is training this. I'm very okay with that, because that does no damage. And then Palmot goes for close combat here, again, perfectly fine. Thankfully I calced for like Tera Fairy Moonblast, and I'm pretty sure this is like a Sash Fluttermane. This is a Jetpack Palmot. Okay, good to know. The Jetpack Palmot is very okay. My opponent goes back into Marker. Good thing I just disregarded this entirely. I think my opponent probably did that anticipating I would go for Stomping Tantrum. I'm very fine with this play. Fluttermane chewed that. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's Babiri Berry. Okay, good to know. Thankfully we dual target. Okay, so this is Babiri Berry. I don't know why it's not letting me type this into the dock. I gotta fix the overriding, but regardless though, I think we're just gonna win off a lead actually, which is kind of nice. Iron Hands can still get a matchup to be fair. Well, I still get a thumbnail to be fair, so I'm kind of okay with that. We're gonna go for Drain Punch into Murkrow, and then I'm gonna go for Stomping Tantrum into Palmot because we know that we can KO. And Palmot's best way to damage me is, okay, I guess Double Shot to be fair is a pretty good way to damage me. But thankfully Palmot cannot click it because it's not Tera Electric. So that's the only time I can click it. So Ting-Lu is just kind of on the field now. Kind of on the field forever. It will never die. We know this thing has Double Shock as well. Perfect. And then Murkrow is hurt, which is good to note. Thankfully, again, Iron Hands choose this. Ooh, Confusion's kind of bad, actually. I can't lie, that's actually really bad. Palmot will now choose hit because of the loss of Electric. Oh, I guess it would have taken that anyway. I'm looking at this. Drain Punch is going to kill Murkrow. That's perfect. Okay. So at this point, we could probably just bring in the Squawk. I feel like the Squawk is kind of decent because my opponent's best way to damage me is close combat now. I could also go into Heatran, I guess. The goal should be to try and preserve differential where possible. We're gonna go into the Squawk because worst case scenario, I just quick attack this, and then we're gonna go for a Heavy Slam here because that should deal the most damage to Palmot. So we're gonna switch out. Frankly, again, the goal is to keep as many Pokemon alive as possible. It just helps with differential. Just realistically getting the seeds that avoid playing like, I don't know. Is there a team that I really care about playing? Oh, unfortunate. We lost Thea. No. Unfortunate. I didn't get a kill. But, oh, right, yeah, because we're not generally bulky. We're just super spectacular. That's what I mean. I didn't even think about Palmot, to be honest. It's a good mon. I don't know why I disregarded it. Regardless, though, we win first game 3-0. I'll take that for sure. GG to Incog for game 1. We do have game number 2, though. There were still a lot of pieces that, frankly, did not come that probably could have done some decent work. The big one I'm thinking of is Furret. I think Furret could enable stuff like Snorlax, assuming that Snorlax is cursed. Though I think I'm a lot less inclined to believe it's cursed. I think Incog might have even just brought Furret just to make me think that it was cursed Snorlax. Though I frankly might just be reading too much into this. Frankly, Selfest isn't even terrible on Snorlax this game either. I think I'm just too hard focused on the really broken sets. But AV sponges most of my team confidently. This does mean, however, that I do have a completely different form of winning the game, which might actually just be leading off with the Squawk, in all honesty. I feel like Squawk lead could be kind of deadly. We're leading off with Hand Squawk. I'm gonna proceed to bring Ting-Lu in the back. I might even just double into Ting-Lu after going for a fake out here. And then I think that my last mon will probably be, if I was Incog, if I had a lot of trouble with Ting-Lu Iron Hands, like Poison Ting-Lu and fucking Bug Heatran. If I was Incog, what would my last mon be? I feel like I don't, so you didn't see anything besides these three, and frankly, you only saw the third because I showed it to you. So what would be the fourth mon? And what would you bring? I feel like Murkrow, I feel like honestly top 4 just come again, in all honesty. Politoed might still be not terrible here. I'm gonna go with Sinistcha, just because Sinistcha does, frankly, it helps my top 2 a lot more. And WinCon Sinistcha actually could have done a lot of work against the 4 my opponent brought last time, because I kind of wall Palmot with that. Snorlax with Heat Crash could be a problem for that, to be fair. It's something I didn't actually anticipate in prep. Same as Hurricane Murkrow if I'm not set up yet. But if I can get a field positioning with Fluttermane and Palmot, I could actually maybe get the Calm Mind up and then go for Protect, kill Fluttermane, and then win the game. For Politoed, okay, perfectly fine. Game 2 lead, and then game 2 lead. Now, something I do need to be careful of, as much as I don't think it will come, It's Frisk for it, by the way. That's good to note, actually. Frisk is a lot better in Draft League when it's not completely open sheet, but good to know. What I'm going to do, I'm going to fake out into the Politoed here, and I'm going to go for a Protect on the bird. Now, the bird should be able to deal some serious damage on the following turn, and that should allow us to just kind of pop off with the Squawk, and the Squawk should be able to go hard. Now, is this thing Clover Cloak? It flinched. Okay, perfect. So that's not the Clover Cloak Mon. So then it is definitely going to be the Murkrow. That's why we did so much damage to it. Perfectly fine here. Very perfectly fine. Now what I can proceed to do, I can go right into Ting-Lu and go for Facade. The Facade with Squawk should deal some serious damage to Politoed, which is kind of the more immediate threat here. I think there's a high chance that Furret just goes for Follow Me here. Let me just make sure. Okay, I didn't Tera, thank God. I thought I hit Tera for some reason. There's a high chance that I think that Furret just goes for Follow Me and sacks and lets Politoed get a kill. I'm kind of fine with that, because frankly I don't think it'll kill next to Ting-Lu. We'll have to see what happens. Regardless of Squawk is going to turn into a decent breaker. Ooh, Baby Doll Eyes. I think it drops attack. Yeah, attack. I think it's by 2 stages too. Good brain actually. It's a very good brain. And then this is Encore. And that's also perfectly fine. Okay, so Baby Doll Eyes for it. Really good bring by my opponent actually. Now, what I'll need to do here, I am going to go for the, I think I'm going to go for the Tera Poison again. I don't know if I want to immediately, but I kind of want to. I'm actually kind of fine. It's a Politoed without... It's a Politoed with Damp or Water Absorb. I'm going to just target the Furret here. We'll go for Facade again into the Politoed, I think. I feel like just killing the Politoed is kind of nice, just because it could have some annoying support moves for me, and frankly, I don't want to get Encore locked into Protect. They're going to go for Protect of their own. Okay, good to know. Also, I put Ice Punch. I meant Ice Beam. Okay. So was that was knockoff. Oh shit, this thing gets knockoff. Well, thankfully it doesn't matter because I already have the Guts boost, but it's still decent damage to be fair. I mean, Furret has like an okay enough attack stat where that's kind of substantial. We get another crit with Stomping Tantrum. This move is kind of busted. This Furret's actually unironically doing some decent work. I won't act like it's amazing, but I mean it's stalled the Squawk, which otherwise was a decent win con. Okay, so this is Sitrus Berry. Again, I don't know why it's not letting me do berries, but good to note. I should probably be going for Taunt here. I feel like Taunt for it. We're gonna go for Protect. Just to try and get around the Baby Doll Eyes that's inevitably coming, and then I can go for Facade into Toad, and then Tantrum into Furret. Follow Me. Okay, perfect. So we did reveal Follow Me. In case we get to game 3. It was a pretty obvious move to be fair, but it's still good to know. They're gonna go for Ice Beam. Perfect. Okay. I can proceed to now just take out the Politoed immediately with this. And then I can still kill the Furret on the following turn after, so that's kind of good. My opponent might honestly just switch here, that's kind of fine. I think I'll go for Brave Bird just in case, because I feel like a Flutter Mane switch is really obvious from Politoed here. And then meanwhile, we'll go for High Horsepower into the Furret. And then that combination should be really good. They're gonna go for Protect. They get the dual Protect. Okay, not bad. Furret still shouldn't deal a lot of damage to me. Super Fang. Okay, Super Fang actually some really good damage. Super Fang is some really good damage that I didn't even anticipate. Meanwhile, my Squawk is super fucking slow. We're gonna have to switch out the Squawk, I think, unless I can get a quick attack kill back in the attack kill off in there. And yeah, I'm not losing the Squawk just yet. Because without the -2 attack, I feel confident this thing can deal some serious damage. I could maybe go into Sinistra, but I'm going to take more from Ice Beam, so frankly, I'd rather actually try and lose a Mon, bring in Squawk, and then go for Sinistra. But that just kind of means some unfortunate cycling is all, because that just means I have to lose a Mon, frankly. But the Squawk, regardless, should deal some decent damage. They're going to go for Protect yet again. Okay, I'm kind of fine with that. And they're going to go for Knockoff. So they're going to remove my AV on Iron Hands. That's a little unfortunate, but this Furret is kind of doing the work right now. Okay. So Furret is just barely alive. That's kind of good for me, in all honesty. We're gonna go for Tantrum into Furret, and then I'm gonna go for Wild Charge into Politoed here. They're gonna go for Protect on Politoed. Sure. I mean that makes sense to be fair. I think Incog is just trying to stall for time at this point. Less so stall for time, I guess, to be fair. More so just trying to get more Super Fang kills if possible, in case I'm targeting Politoed. Or maybe even just trying to stall for it to be free, maybe get a free switch into something else. I feel like there's a lot of things that could be maybe done with this play. I'm not sure entirely what is the specific reason for spamming Protect, but I'm sure there is a reason, to be fair. There's a lot of things that could maybe come in that would be more useful. Regardless, though, my opponent is gonna bring in one of those other Pokemon. Palmot comes in. Okay. Palmot coming in is fine. We can honestly just go for the dual target here. I'll go for Tera Poison just to get my resistance to Palmot. And then, I'm gonna go for the Wild Charge into Politoed. And then I'll go for the Tera Poison just to get around my close combat weakness here. I feel like Incog will predict that, and I would just go for close combat into Iron Hands because I think it's the more sound play to be making right now. Or just go for the Double Shock right into Ting-Lu, get some damage off, and try and get this Quark Sitrus, which either way is honestly a really good play. But I know Incog is... Okay, Incog's just going to go for Protect and Scout. Really safe play as well, to be honest. But I know Incog was never going to make a really risky play like that. I know he plays. Stomping Tantrum gets Encored. That's kind of fine, in all honesty. That's what I was going for anyway. This leads me to believe almost that Murkrow might be the last one in the back, and the Incog is trying to lock me in a position where I can't click anything else. Kind of okay with that if that's the case. In all honesty, if Murkrow's the last one left, then I can kind of just win here. We do kill the Politoed though, thankfully. I'm kind of curious about what that last one is though. Murkrow. Okay, yep, Murkrow comes in. Alright. This is still kind of fine, in all honesty, because what I can proceed to do, I can just go for... So I need to click Stomping Tantrum here into Palmot. They're going to go for Double Shock for sure. But I can go into Sinistra here. And then Sinistra can heal up my Ting-Lu. And then I can go probably back into Iron Hands. And then from there go into... just kind of cycle. Because I think that at this point I have a perpetual way to keep Ting-Lu alive for the entire rest of the game and get the 4 out. Very confidently, actually, because I have Sinistra. And my opponent's team can't really break my Palma. Break my team. Now, Palma getting some more damage to close combat is going to be good. Too bad they're definitely targeting the Sinistra with that, if they're going for Tera Fighting. Because there was no other reason to pop the Tera Fighting other than the Hot Look School. Because they're going to get the single typing anyway with Double Shock. So yeah, they were going for Iron Hands. Very unfortunate, but it is what it is. Hurricane does go off. Okay, so Ingong does predict. And ooh, that's a kill. That just kills. What the fuck? I mean, to be fair, I'm Bizdef. I'm definitely Bizdef. I don't want to act like I'm not. Holy fuck, he just killed. We're going to go into Thea here. I feel confident that Palmot's not going to Mach Punch me. Just in case, though, I am going to go for Stomping Tantrum. Claim my kill. Because I'm not losing the Squawk. I'm not losing the Squawk. I need my kill. Palmot goes for Protect. Fucking perfect. Okay, glad I called that. Fuck Murkrow. Fuck Murkrow, but I'll take that I called that. Okay. Murkrow goes for Hurricane. Into the Squawk. Okay. So Incog's really trying to make that Murkrow go well. This is definitely some sort of like, I feel like it has to be an offensive Murkrow as well. I can't imagine it isn't. Because otherwise, I don't know, maybe that would have killed. To be fair, again, I don't have any Spidef into my Sinistra here. I think I literally just have 4. Because if I remember correctly, I wanted to take on Snorlax for this. Yeah, okay, I don't even have any, actually. Yeah, so Hurricane... Oh, that has investment. That definitely... Because that's next to Ting-Lu. That has investment. That's super invested. Holy shit. We're gonna go for Stomping Tantrum here. And then I'm gonna go for a quick attack into Murkrow and just get my damage, to be honest. I think we can kill. We almost kill, actually. I mean, that's not the Palma's last move was knockoff. I don't think it'll matter at this point, but to be fair, I mean, this Murkrow has been doing some serious damage. With the right Hurricane Confuses, I mean, it could still definitely be Incog's game for sure. Like, if this Hurricane Confuses right now, I might actually be in a bad position, because Incog can protect around my Iron Hands. Okay, no, thank God. Alright. So Murkrow can't 1v1 me, think, oh, fuck. Ooh, that's not good. That's not good at all. Okay, I need to target the Murkrow. I need to dual target the fucking Murkrow. I don't think I can heavy slam it yet. So that means I have to go for the... Oh, no, I can't heavy slam it. Okay, thank God. I'll go for Fake Out into Palmot just in case, because I can't let it go for close combat into me. Safe play, good play. We should still be able to kill Murkrow though, so barring a confusion into my Ting-Lu, I should be kind of fine here. This might actually, if I get confused, this could actually become a practice shoot for me. I think I might be Specs Murkrow, by the way. Are you fucking kidding? I mean, I called it, to be fair. I definitely manifested that. Holy shit. Do not hit yourself, Ting-Lu. Do not hit yourself, Ting-Lu. Do not hit yourself, Ting-Lu. Do not hit yourself. That did like 140 damage. What the fuck say is this? like, I can get a good read on that, hopefully. 56. Let's claim my kill, but for sake of, I can't end the video until we get that information, because I think that's a Specs Murkrow. And I do need to figure that out. So we're not Assault Vest. So versus Murkrow. Oh no, it's 160. Oh yeah, that is fucking true Specs. We don't even kill. Okay. Well, thankfully, I will. Okay, so I don't actually think this is... I think this is Specs. I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is Specs. That is guaranteed Specs Murkrow. It's not very invested Specs Murkrow, but I am certain that's a Specs Murkrow from the damage that did, the Ting-Lu. For context, even modest, actually that could be Sharp Beak to be fair, but it is at very bare minimum an offensively biased Murkrow that has a shit ton of offense, whether it's through the item usage and a little bit of EVs, or it's a very invested set with like a Shark Beak or some shit. But no matter what, like Shark Beak Murkrow, for example, that's a mid-roll. That's a very mid-roll for modest Murkrow. What the fucking god? Very good game regardless. We will take that. That got us 5 differential right there. I'll cut to myself for a playoff update as well as who we're fighting, as well as just the outro to the video in a future recording. Peace.
So, seeding didn't end up actually mattering. However, I do need to point out that I'm going to be getting the spoilers for who made playoffs here, because we do end up having around one opponent. With that said, 3, 2, 1, go. We're taking on Cherry next week. Now, Cherry actually, of the playoff teams, was, in my opinion, the easiest matchup. With Gert's team in particular, we ended up obviously having to take on an opponent who ended up bringing level 50 Mon, and while I do still feel like that was actually our best matchup of the 4, I'm very fine not having to play it again immediately. Pat Mac instead is taking on Gert, and looking at the rosters actually, for Pat Mac's team in particular, that was actually Pat Mac's only loss the whole season. Now, I believe that both teams... I know, actually, Pat Mac definitely not big free agents. I think that Gert might have, though, after that game. So if that happened, great. If not, I'm perfectly fine with that as well. The point being, though, is that there is a chance that we might not even have to play Pat Mac again. Though I'm going to be honest, I would love to actually play Pat Mac, because I would love the chance to actually get to take on Pat Mac and get the win, because barring the forfeit loss against Stella, it was our only loss of the season. So I'm really hopeful that we can get that rematch in finals, but that does make it a little bit more interesting at the very least. We got 2nd seed overall. We tied Pat Mac and Diff despite having a whole less win on our record, which means that if we even just didn't get the forfeit loss against Stell, we guarantee won the game. And we ended up making the top seed overall, which would have been really cool. But regardless though, Incog just chose interesting pairings that were completely unbiased. I'm perfectly fine with that for the record. My Cherry matchup is very good. I think if anything, really, that's the only coach it screws over is Cherry. But it is what it is. Cherry still is an incredible team, and my team has changed a lot since that matchup. So it should be an interesting matchup for that rematch in general, though I do still feel very confident in that matchup. You guys will see the live builder, of course, if you are a channel member. And speaking of, if you want to become a channel member today, it's only a couple dollars a month. And it's a nice way to support the channel and overall just get some nice bonus content. So yeah, going into our channel member poll, I'm going to give it until the end of today, but it does look like that Hisui Arcanine is going to win that. So of course, if you want to check that out, make sure to check that out with the channel member button, and it'll be live on Sunday at probably around 3 p.m. EST. If you guys enjoy the content though today and you want to see more like it, of course, like and subscribe. We should have videos fully returning on Friday. I know I said that last week, but I ended up getting sick and also having a bunch of issues regarding my internet. That should actually happen this week at Pinky Swear. At Pinky Swear, guys, we'll have a video on Friday. Ideally, it's going to be Volcarona. However, that depends on if Kurt finishes editing the second channel video in time. If it does not end up being Volcarona, it's going to be Dusclops. Either way, though, one of those will be Friday, the other one will be Monday. Make sure to check them out regardless, and if you enjoyed today's video, like and subscribe. Shout outs to our channel members as well. I forgot to actually shout out the channel members despite mentioning it. I thought I did a really good segue and then just kind of fucked it up. But as for our current channel members, though, we do have Mia, Zeke0, Josh K, Ultra Player, Rao Sakura, Obo, Johanna Speed, Double, Endless Gadgets, Bam Bambi, Incog, and our newest channel member, Vincent Wee. Thank you guys so much for your added support. It really means a lot, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, peace out, guys.